I'm sort of curious, how does the idea of, I guess, just a monster change as we get older? Like for you, what's the difference in talking about monsters with kids versus talking about monsters with adults?
That's interesting, but smart question.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Darren Aronofsky, good to see you again, sir. How are you?
How are you? Have we met before?
Yes, sir. We met at the Black Swan Junket at the Pantages, I believe it was. It's just a handful of years ago, which was a fantastic junket. But I got to tell you,
your hair has only gotten better.
I appreciate it. I woke up like this, man. Completely yours as well, I have to say. It looks good. I tell you every time, you are one of my favorite filmmakers of all time. So this is really an honor to be able to speak with you, man.
Thank you. It's nice to see you. I think I might be coming out to Chicago with The Whale, so we'll hang out then.
I'm dying to see it. You have no idea. I was going to ask you one quick question about that, but I have to start out talking about Monster Club, because Monster Club is, it's about facing down your monsters, literally, but I feel like facing monsters is a theme that you've touched on in your films, whether it's Requiem for a Dream or Black Swan. I'm sort of curious, how does the idea of, I guess, just a monster change as we get older? Like for you, what's the difference in talking about monsters with kids versus talking about monsters with adults?
That's interesting. I was talking to a friend recently, and a lot of my films don't really have antagonists. They're kind of invisible. If you think about Requiem for a Dream, it's like addiction is the bad guy, but it's kind of this invisible thing. And in Black Swan, it's Natalie Portman's kind of mind. That's it. But in Monster Club, there are real legitimate monsters in the story. And I think, look, it's very autobiographical. When I was in elementary school, me and my buddy Eric started this thing called Monster Club, and we would just draw these monsters and we'd kind of debate who was more powerful, and a lot of fun, and actually fight them with different art and drawing. And it was just all encompassing. And I always knew I wanted to bring that kind of youth energy, tell that story to the world. So I think it was very literal when we were kids, and I think as you get older, at some point, and it's kind of what Monster Club's about, you kind of have to be like, well, monsters don't really exist, or do they? They just come in other shapes and forms. So I think you're hitting it right on the nose there. And it's something I got to think about a little more as you bring it out. But smart question.
I appreciate it. Well, it's interesting. I feel like the idea of someone's artistic creations coming to life is really fascinating, because it could be magical for some people and it could be terrifying for other people. I'm sort of curious, what the experience of monsters coming to life, and what way is that like for you, taking your screenplay and then seeing it come to life on the big screen and bringing it to life? Like, is it kind of magical? Is it kind of terrifying? Is it a similar process?
It's not really terrifying. This is for kids. It's 9 to 12-year-olds is sort of the range they're talking about. And there's suspense and there's tension, but the monsters coming alive are exciting. These aren't like the scary type of monsters. They're the monsters that are pals. And the pals somehow get out of control, and it becomes a little Gremlins, a little Goonies, a little Stranger Things, and a lot of mayhem happens, but it doesn't dip into the scary end of the monster. It's more of just like the very, very fun part of like whatever your imagination can imagine suddenly coming to life, and then what do you do with it, and how does it mess things up, and then how do you fix everything? How do you put the genie back in the bottle?
I got to tell you though, as an entertainment reporter, there's no story in recent memory that I love more than just all the love and affection, appreciation that Brendan Fraser has been seeing lately. I'm curious, what is it like for you? Not just seeing the love that he's getting for The Whale, but knowing how much we're all cheering for him and rooting for his return, and how much of a role you played in that.
To be completely transparent, I had no clue about the amount of love for Brendan Fraser. He was the right guy for the role. It took me 10 years to cast the role. I thought about every single actor on the planet to play Charlie, the lead character in The Whale. And no one really got me, in my heart or soul, no one got me to want to make it. And then I stumbled on a little clip on Brendan in a trailer of a low budget Brazilian movie. And I was like, oh, that's really an interesting idea. And a light bulb went off. And all of this love that's come out for him, I didn't realize it was there. It's deep. It's really deep, and for me, it's kudos. It's all extra. It's all extra credit. It's all bonus, because it wasn't a calculation. It was like that was the right man for the job, and I put him in it, and I love it. And it couldn't happen to a better guy. The guy has a huge heart, not just on screen, but in real life. He is a really, really wonderful gentleman, really caring, a really, really good man. And so for me, it's heartbreaking in a positive way when I see the love he's getting, because he deserves it.
You're absolutely right. It's just genuinely beautiful, and I honestly can't wait to see the film. I'm going to cut you loose on somewhat of a strange question, which is that obviously Monster Club is a great novel that's perfect for a younger audience. I would have loved it just at that right age growing up, a younger audience than you're used to creating art for. But I want to pitch something to you that I feel like I've said for years, just to kind of get your thoughts on, and you can tell me if I'm crazy. I've always thought that if younger audiences watched Requiem for a Dream, it would scare the hell out of them and they'd never want to do drugs. Like, I'm sort of curious, how do you feel about the Monster Club audience watching Requiem for the first time and like it being required viewing?
No. There's a break there. I mean, Monster Club is 9 to 12. Maybe some advanced readers that are a little younger will go for it. There is some tensions and stuff, but Requiem is serious. But I do think, and I've run into lots of kids who did catch Requiem in high school, and they are very thankful for the lessons they got out of it. Because look, it was written by this great author, one of America's treasures, Hubert Selby Jr., who was sober for the most of his life after being really, really in a tough place, and ended up saving so many lives through his sobriety and sponsoring many, many people. And that book was really a warning to be like where addiction can lead to. So look, start with Monster Club. Monster Club 2 is coming out in a year. We'll get you a little closer. And then in a couple of years, as you age towards the end, I think parents showing their kids and sitting there and watching with them when they're 16, 17 years old, I think it actually can be a good conversation starter for families.
Well, I have 1,000 more questions, but I don't want to mess up everyone else's schedules.
I'm going to see you in Chicago, baby.
Please, I would love that. And seriously, if you can't, you're a genius, sir. And seriously, I cannot tell you how much it means every time I get the chance to chat with you. I don't take it for granted. So I appreciate your time.
Please, Chicago, please help me out with Monster Club, my first book.
We've got actual physical bookstores all around here. So let's bring you in a few of them whenever you come to town.
Go to your independent bookstores, please. I don't mind Amazon, but support the.
We got mom and pop shops here. I'd love to take you to.
All right, great.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Thank you for your time.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.